What's up, family, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to have an interesting conversation around this idea of the clarity of Christianity. So often you hear people say stuff like the Bible is clear, God is clear, and so I want to kind of challenge that a little bit. Many proponents of Christianity frequently make claims of absolute clarity as it pertains to who God is, what his message is, and what the rest of us should be doing about it. Among these claims are those of absolute morality, the definition of marriage, the purpose of humanity, and even the hopelessness for those who are without God. We're going to critically engage this idea in today's conversation and see how we feel about the presupposed clarity of Christianity. So before we jump into this, go ahead and remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell. Consider joining, supporting our community in whatever way that makes sense for you. And then, of course, check out our merch because it is dope. And I'm not just saying that. It really is. Go look at it. And then you're going to be like, holy crap, this dude wasn't lying. This is some dope merch. All right. So Christianity, one of the world's largest religions, and that's debatable, is often viewed as a beacon of clarity and moral guidance. However, beneath the surface of shared core beliefs lies a complex tapestry of differing doctrines, interpretations, and practices. With over 44,000 different denominations worldwide, varying understandings of Christ, spiritual gifts, and prophecy, one must ask, where exactly is the clarity in Christianity? And so to kind of drive this point home, we're going to start with denominational diversity, right? That's the elephant in the room. It's the obvious one. The existence of more than 44,000 Christian denominations globally highlights significant doctrinal diversity, and Christians seem to be anti-diversity. This fragmentation is not merely a reflection of geographical or cultural differences, but underscores deep theological disagreements that have developed over centuries. From major branches like Roman Catholicism, Orthodoxy, and Protestantism to countless smaller sects, each group interprets key theological concepts through its own unique lens. This division often stems from differing views on scriptural authority, the role of tradition, church governance, and the interpretation of the Bible itself. But not only are there issues when it comes to just the interpretation of the Bible, there's also issues when it comes to interpretation of Christ. Central to Christianity is the figure of Jesus Christ, yet interpretations of his identity and role vary dramatically among believers. While all Christians agree on Jesus' importance, how they understand his nature and mission can differ drastically. For instance, debates on the nature of Christ's divinity and humanity were so contentious that they led to the early church councils, which aimed to define orthodoxy. Today, these debates persist in discussions over issues such as Christ's presence in the Eucharist, his role in salvation, and his relationship to the Father and the Holy Spirit. Well, even when you speak of the Spirit, you also have to speak of the spiritual gifts. The concept of spiritual gifts, as described in the New Testament, is another area of notable variance among Christians. Some denominations, particularly within Pentecostal and charismatic movements, embrace speaking in tongues, prophecy, and healings as gifts that are actively present in their communities. In contrast, more conservative groups may interpret these gifts as having ceased with the apostolic age or view them in a more symbolic and less literal light. This divergence significantly affects worship practices and the expected outcomes of faith in different communities. Prophecy is yet another theological element interpreted diversely within Christianity. For some, it represents direct divine communication that can predict future events or reveal deep truths. Others see prophecy more as preaching or moral exhortation grounded in wisdom and understanding of the scriptures rather than foretelling future events. This disparity impacts not only personal faith, but also the political and social activism of different groups who may believe they are mandated by prophetic insight to take specific actions. But then there's also variations in different biblical canons. Another significant factor contributing to the lack of clarity within Christianity is the variation in biblical canons across different denominations and branches. The canon of scriptures, which determines which books are included as official and inspired texts, varies markedly among Christian groups. For instance, the Roman Catholic Church includes several deuterocanonical books in the Old Testament that Protestant denominations do not, such as Tobit, Judith, and additional portions of Esther and Daniel. The Orthodox Church recognizes even more text, including 3rd Maccabees, and Psalms 151 as a part of its canon. But even that phrasing is problematic because which Orthodox Church? The Greek one, the Coptic one? There's plenty. These differences are not merely academic, but affect the theology, the liturgy, and daily devotions of believers in each tradition. They underscore a fundamental lack of consensus on what actually constitutes the Bible. Moreover, within the same branches, there can be variations in the editions of the Bible used, which different translations and interpretations that may emphasize or de emphasize certain passages and themes. This divergence raises significant questions about the integrity and uniformity of Christian doctrine, as it is influenced by which texts are considered authoritative and how they are read. Noticeably, not how God clarified it all for his believing children. So, where exactly is the clarity in Christianity? This question becomes particularly pressing when one considers the vast array of denominations and the divergent interpretations of key Christian doctrines, such as the nature of Christ, spiritual gifts, prophecy, and even the biblical canon. Rather than offering a unified voice, Christianity presents a multitude of voices, each proclaiming different absolute truths and paths to salvation that, in their eyes, couldn't be less clear. This fragmentation is a clear challenge to the notion of a clear singular Christianity, suggesting that what is often presented as a monolithic global faith is in reality a complex and varied collection of groups who are united in name only. If these groups were categorized appropriately, Christianity would be rightfully seen as a failure by fracture and fragmentation. The persistent division within Christianity is clear evidence of the absence of any divine intervention to unify, rectify, or clarify. The big point here is that any claim of authority, any claim of clarity in Christianity is just as empty as its claims of providing hope, strength, or any type of relevant insight into the world around us. There is no consensus on God, Jesus, the Spirit, Mary, Moses, or even the message of the book. Beyond that, there is not even consensus on the book itself. These are the things that we have to think about. For those of us who were sincerely engaging this religion as a faith, the diversity of thought and the diversity of belief ends up becoming very perplexing, casting shadows of doubt on the actual clarity and unity. Because let's be clear, like how I did that, if there is no clarity, then there is no unity. Man, that's some good stuff right there. And so I just wanted to have this quick conversation with you all today, and I hope that you've gotten something out of this and that this has, tickled your mind a little bit, giving you something to think about, giving you something to ponder on, and hopefully giving us all something to help make this world a little more people-centric and a little more progressive as we go on. Thank you all for hanging out with me today. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that alert notification bell, and consider joining this community in whatever way that makes sense for you. I love you all. I'll holler at you next time. Until next time, keep rising, stay progressive, and if you can, stay beautiful. I'm out of here.